You're listening to the Live Out Loud podcast with River Wynn and Michelle Flamer.
Hi, River.
Hello, Michelle.
I'm happy you're back. It feels like forever.
It does. Time feels very surreal right now.
Yeah, especially like that weather. Like we have overcast weather today. You have overcast weather up there, it looks like.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, it's coming into fall.
It is. It feels very much like fall. It's a shifting season.
It really is. So today, I mean, along with the leaves, right? We are talking about letting go. Oh, you like that, the way that I pulled
I
that
like
in.
that pun right there.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I roll. So we're just going to talk about letting go, and it can be in all aspects of life. It can be letting go of um, someone you're dating short term, someone you're dating long term, someone you've been married to, so a
Mm,
job, an idea, letting go of an idea of how we think life should be today. Like I had a friend of mine really go through like a comparison um, kind of thing for themselves. I don't know if I think they were comparing themselves to other people at their age, or thinking
mm,
by the time I was 42, I thought I would be XYZ in life. And I
Yeah,
think,
like that late bloomer concept.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you have to sometimes allow for the being nimble in life, right? We have to be nimble, we have to be able to pivot. You
Mhm.
can't just hold on to you can hold on to plans, you can have an idea, you can have a checklist of some sort, and you can
Mhm.
have goals, but sometimes have to let go of the idea that you were going to be um you were going to be married by 25, and then you're going to have kids by 29, and you were going to or
Yeah.
but you were going to travel first, then have kids, then do this, and then do la 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 la,
Well,
on
that's
and on.
just simply not how life works.
Right,
we
right.
can't we can't control what happens tomorrow, let alone 10 years from now. And so having like an idea of how you'd like life to unfold is great, but the reality is that sometimes life has a different plan for you than you have for it.
Yeah.
And I will say right now, like it's very fitting that today we're recording this and talking about letting go because the last eclipse is today.
Oh, I'm telling you, there is this one really brought up a lot of stuff for
And
everybody.
it's
I've been
and it's
holding
in Virgo.
space.
It's in Virgo, which is,
Oh,
and the theme of this like eclipse corridor, as we called it, because we had eclipse earlier in the month, and this is the last one, has really been like letting go and letting things fall away. And I feel that like even in my own personal life, like my trip to Denver recently, I got back and literally a bunch of shit just like fell off my plate. Like I had to let it go. It felt like I needed to let it go, released it, pivoting. I feel that. So I think we're all collectively feeling it too.
well, I think what happens is, like I said, we can plan for things, but
Mhm.
I think creating, and everyone, some people pick their birthday to like create, hey, the next 12 months, like from birthday to
Hmm.
birthday, because some people get really stuck in the New Year's like resolution stuff, and you and
Hmm.
I both aren't like big fans of resolutions. But
No.
I think like the fear of the unknown, and that like versus like illusion of that security of
Hmm.
thinking something is going in a specific way.
Yeah, because not knowing for certain is uncomfortable.
Yeah, it
And
can
we
be.
don't, humans, we don't like uncomfortable. We don't like
Yeah,
unknown.
yeah,
And so the concept of letting go is really scary for a lot of people because there's a lot of unknown behind letting go. It's kind of like that free fall game you do with the trust game you do with your friends, when you're little,
free
where it's
falling.
like someone stands in front of the person, like, you fall backwards and see if someone was going to catch you,
The trust fall,
the
trust
trust
fall.
fall. Yeah, that's kind of what it is like with life and the universe too, energetically. Like you're constantly being asked to trust fall.
Yeah.
And
I
you have
mean,
to believe that the universe is going to catch you.
well, I think again, this comes from like God, and the way the world is right now, it's like society sets these timelines for us from this early age.
Yeah, there's a
And
blueprint. We're handed a blueprint from the moment we're born.
I know. And what's hilarious is like the boomer era was the 40-hour work week. The Gen X was 40 hours. Let's do 40 hours in something that we love. Like
Hmm.
we're leaning into more passion. And then millennial, what would you say millennial is? Millennial is a cluster of like,
We're just a chaotic mess. We're like none of the blueprints that our parents or our grandparents had work for us
you
at
guys are
all.
writing your own
But I
script.
still, a lot of us are still trying to make those blueprints work. And then finding out like in our 30s, like early 40s, like they just don't fucking work, right? And so then we're
Well, I
having to
think like the
recalibrate and we're feeling a little
yeah.
lost and we're like trying to figure ourselves out. Like everyone's having midlife crises, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's like you guys compare yourselves, or we're all comparing, like moving from comparison to like being curious about your own path. I think millennials really are doing their like they really are doing their own path in this life, and
I feel like we are the pivot generation.
mm-hmm,
And then the
it's true.
generation
It's
after us,
true.
like they are doing things so differently, so differently. You know, they don't have like they're writing their own blueprint. Well, while my generation is still kind of like, yeah, we're holding on to the blueprint, but it doesn't work, so we're trying to figure it out. We're pivoting, and then the next generation's like, fuck the blueprint.
Exactly.
We're making our own life.
I mean, it's kind of true. It's like shedding that dream of like the job is everything, which is really interesting because now people are really creating their passions are becoming their job. Like,
Hmm.
like you being a photographer, like you can have a really good living doing what you're passionate about. And I
Yeah.
think so my mom being a boomer and basically then saying to us as we were growing up, as I said, like in our in my podcast in the episode with my mom, it was like
Hmm.
she would just tell us, hey, you can be whatever you want to be. She had enough of that Aquarian sense in her that she was like,
Yeah.
don't fall for the 40-hour, 40-week kind of thing. Like just
Hmm.
like find something you really love and know have like confidence that you are going to make a living through doing what you love. And I think that was really rare. I realized that was really like rare advice given back
Especially
then.
from a woman to a daughter,
Yeah.
because that's like a generation where women were entering the workforce in bigger ways. And so there was like the expectation of having either you stay at home or you have a career, and there was like no in between.
To be fair, she was talking to my brother and I, but yes, I mean,
Yeah, but
but
still, like,
she didn't yeah, she didn't differentiate whatsoever. It was just a conversation we were having on the
yeah, and
couch when we were 14, 14 and
yeah,
12.
and I think for a woman to say to her children, then do what you love versus get a smart job and be
Yeah.
safe and secure. That's huge.
Well, I think if I look at all my friends from high school and I look at what they're all doing now, and I think about some of the parents that I knew pretty well, it was kind of split where you're going to college, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a doctor. And then the other side was like, hey, I have the family business. If you want to like be a part of it, that's cool. Why don't you go and get like maybe a business degree? Like the other part was like, do a
Mm,
degree where you could kind of like lean into this or lean into that. Or it was like, you're going to med school, you're doing,
mm,
you're like really like focused.
yeah.
And so my friends are all split up in like all those different jobs. And I
Yeah,
definitely
where
took a colorful route.
I feel like for me with my friend group, the people I know who like most of us have gone to college. But I'd say probably like 10% of the people I know who went to college are actually doing something in the field that they went into study. So,
Yeah,
and they were very specific, like nursing, and
yeah.
everyone else is like doing something completely the opposite of what they went to school for. Um, and it's just because, we were told that coming out of college we were going to have careers right away, but that just wasn't the case. That wasn't the
Yeah.
case available for
So
us.
so when was a hard time for you letting go? Like letting go was really hard for you in whatever capacity.
Mm, I think a big one for me was definitely marriage.
Hmm.
Um,
Good call. Good
in
call out.
that it took me, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I was trying to let it go from the day it started. Um,
Sorry. Sorry, that was
and then
funny.
it took me 8 years to let it
Right.
go. No, but
Right.
that was quite literally the energy of it was that I knew from day one that this person wasn't a good fit for me, but I also knew that energetically speaking that there was something we came to do together, and like we had these amazing kids. So like that was our like karma together is kind of how I consider it. So it was like necessary, but it took me 8 years to let that relationship slash chapter go. Um, and when it finally happened, it was a huge weight off my shoulders. And I had already grieved it because I spent 8 years grieving it, essentially. So it was just a really long chapter of um, letting go over a long period of time, I think. It wasn't just one day like, oh, I want to get divorced. It was like,
No, totally.
by the time I made that decision, it had been a long time coming. So it was a long process for me.
Yeah. I think for me, I think letting go was really about I think I let go back in my first real long-term relationship with in LA.
Mm,
We had a antique store together, and that moment where I realized that she no longer wanted to create a family,
hmm
and I had to let go of the idea that I am not going to have this cute little mixed Asian baby because I wanted the baby to
mm,
look like both of us, you know?
hmm
And I was just in love with the idea of, her and I having, creating this little sweet unit together. And
hmm
I think that was like my first time of really letting go. Actually, no, because the first time probably was when I made the choice to join the Air Force. And I had to
mm,
let go of the idea that the rest of college for me was not in, like, I just was not lit up by it. Like I loved
mm,
my scholarship and played tennis and I liked all that stuff, but I think I was just really burnt at that point of like, God, it was so much school. Like, at that point you're like,
mm,
I mean, there was part of me maybe I wish my dad, or my mom would have been like, let's not do this. Why don't you just finish college? And if you still want to go in the military, like why don't you do it after and you can go in as an officer? Like, I wish they would have had that talk with me. Not that I may still not have listened at that point, but they really didn't push me at all. And I was doing well in school. Like it wasn't, I'd already known that I was, dyslexic and all that other stuff, but
mhm,
so I think I had to let go of the idea that, yeah, I'm not going to like graduate and get my bachelor's and like go in some type of psychology. I was looking at like forensic psychology. I was like
mm.
really into like the police stuff, right? So that's why I became a cop in the Air Force. But I really loved the Air Force. Like I really appreciated what that experience gave to me. So like letting go of one thing, and I think sometimes it does open a door for a whole other, realm. It's not necessarily a bad thing all the time, like we say. Like sometimes someone saying no to you actually is the best yes you'll ever get in life. Like,
I think that we look at the human existence as being linear.
yeah,
But I think just like the natural world, humans are cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
And, like if you think about like as, tying this back to fall, like in the Pacific Northwest, like we're shifting, we're going through another cycle. We're leaving summer behind, right? And everything's starting to shed, the leaves are starting to shed, things are changing colors, things are dying. It's a natural part of the cycle for the environment here. And I think as humans, we are also cyclical like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we do ourselves a great disservice when we think of our paths just being straight and narrow and focused on one outcome, because that doesn't give us any room to grow and expand and bloom. And so if we start looking at life more like that, it's like more of like the process of being a plant. Like humans are
Mm-hmm.
plants, essentially, in that way. Um, I feel like it makes it easier to let things go because you and I both know that on the other side of letting go, there's something that's better.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, letting go is like you're letting go of an attachment or like some type of like control, right? Like
Mhm.
there's some of that going
I
on.
think it's definitely control because like it goes back to that what we were saying earlier about humans, like we just are really scared of the unknown. And if we can control things tightly and know what's next, we don't have to be scared.
Yeah, I think like releasing timelines, like releasing things that like, that whatever those societal norms were around things. Like I just think at this point in my life, it's like I really want people to just do things that light them up. Like I get
Hmm.
it. You have to make money to live, and all that kind of stuff. I understand all that. Um, but I think you can get more, I think you can get creative or create a side hustle that really lights you up out there,
Hmm.
in order to maybe it helps you save money and get to that next level that you've been wanting to, or maybe it just lights you up and that's literally enough. Like you make great money at your job, but it doesn't doesn't fill your soul cup up, right? So
Hmm.
and on the weekends or in your off hours, you're doing something that really, fulfills that. And so you can find that balance. You can do three jobs and be happy in two of them and one of them, but you're still just it's three jobs and you enjoy all three of them for whatever they bring to the table. Like there's no right or wrong way to go about this.
Yeah, you get to design your own life. I think that's
Yeah.
the thing that really um, is being highlighted right now is like, fuck the blueprint.
Yeah.
You get to design your life the
Exactly.
way that feels good to you. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes there isn't like there's a bit of privilege in that too, because for some people it does feel inaccessible. And rightfully so. There are social barriers for some people
Mm,
towards that end, but we all know that barriers are meant to be removed, right? And
yeah.
so, yeah, barriers don't always have to long term exist. Like we've watched so many amazing examples of people who have gone on to create their own blueprints despite the barriers.
Yeah.
But I
Hmm.
do want to say, like, just acknowledge that sometimes there is a privilege in saying fuck the blueprint and creating your own path because that may not always feel accessible for everyone. But, like, even if you can do it in small ways, like you have a day off, what are you going to do with your day off? Are you going to do
Yeah.
something that lights you up? Or are you going to sit at home and scroll on Facebook?
Yeah, like I had a friend, he's a dad. He didn't make a lot of money, but they're a two income family. Luckily his wife was really good at managing, like they did the Dave Ramsey money thing and all this sort of
Mm,
stuff. He just did he did he was driving. He was doing Uber or he was doing DoorDash and like every waking chance he was just but they had a goal. He knew it wasn't forever,
yeah.
because his wife was like, look, we got this. Like if you can make this for X amount of weeks, we could pay off this, we could pay off this, and then you're done. You don't have to do it anymore. So guess what? He did it willingly because they were in this partnership. She's like, I got the kids. The kids were a little bit, like kind of in their middle, like like seventh, eighth, ninth grade, whatever.
Yeah, middle school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like middle school, exactly. And junior high, whatever. I think junior high sometimes, and I realize most people call it middle school these days. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, so that's my Generation X talking. But
Oh, in there.
yeah, no, but I love that because then he was like, cool, I will go do this for the family if you're good taking care of the family, like the kids. Like they had to be on the same page with all that. But
Hmm.
there was no, I love that there was no ego in it for them. It's like, I'm doing this for this goal. Like this is where we're doing, I'm not doing this forever. I'm just
Yeah, and
doing
then they're
this.
gonna let it go when it makes sense.
Yeah, and they did, and it's great. They finally bought a house. They live in Portland. They bought the house a few years ago. They were, kind of got debt free. I mean, they really did a great job at that. But um, it's like again, societal norms. Like they both had regular jobs. He took that on so that they could just get ahead. And sometimes that's what it
You
takes.
know, and sometimes it looks another way too. Like I have some friends here locally where they have two small children. My friend, she backpack like she loves backpacking. She has a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and she takes them backpacking everywhere. Like just her and the little
Love it.
ones. She backpacks with them. She'll carry like a 50-pound pack with one baby on the front and the toddler walking on her own. And her
Amazing.
husband's, a firefighter off fighting fire. But then so they spend the summers with him being gone the entire summer, and they live in a very small place because they were like, we're gonna live in a small place, not pay a lot of money,
Yep.
renting. But then 3 to 6 months out of the year, they're traveling. Like they spent last winter in Mexico,
Yeah, I mean,
And
it does allow space for new opportunities and a new way of thinking.
absolutely, and I'm sitting here like with my own life, I've had the goal of like, oh, I'm gonna buy a house. I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house in the future. That's the goal. And over the last couple of weeks, I've been like, maybe the goal isn't to buy a house. Maybe the
Yeah.
goal is to rent a cheaper place and buy a Sprinter van because that's kind of how my lifestyle is. Hanging out with the kids during the weekdays for school and then adventuring on the weekends.
Hell
It's
yeah. Or venturing to your photography gigs.
exactly. And so maybe for me the blueprint is letting go of the idea of like you have to own a home and owning a vehicle that gets me where I want to go and I can live out of and renting a small place that houses my kids. Like it can look so different for everyone. I think when we get so rigid on how something has to look, we're missing the like huge amount of opportunities that
Yeah,
there
I agree. I agree. I mean, and then and like you were saying, on the other side of letting go is like space for new opportunities. It allows, again, because it's taking, whatever doesn't suit you, it's like let it go because then you're bringing more space. And then you have more emotional freedom. And then you have more self-trust for yourself because you're like, I can do this. I can let this go, no matter if it's a date, person, whatever, and you can just move on with life.
are. I thought about that just really fast. As someone who used to outsource for all my decision making and look to everyone around me for approval on making my decisions for my life, I think it's a huge, huge trust muscle to let things fall without asking other people if it's okay.
I love that.
And to
Okay,
make
that's
decisions for you of like, this feels aligned, doesn't feel aligned for me, and just letting it go without giving a fuck what anybody else thinks about it.
mic drop by River. Thank you, sweetie. I thought this was I like talking about letting go. I think it's important. I think it's a good reminder,
Yeah, I think
especially
it is too.
especially since it is Virgo eclipse and you got to let go of that shit. Let that shit
Yes. Let
go.
it just let it go. Just let
Let
it
it
go.
go.
It's gonna feel so much more or less stressful if you just let it go. Let it
Let it
go.
go. Oh my God. And surrender. Just surrender and just know everything's going to be okay. All right. Love you, friend.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode today, be sure to subscribe and share because what do we say, baby?
Sharing is caring.